So we're going to be looking at the mid-chapter review. So we'll start with 1A. So you're going to multiply by the conjugate. So you have square root of 5 times square root of 5 is 5, and square root of 2 times square root of 2 is 2. You're left with 3. 3 square root 5 plus 2 square root 2. So you're going to multiply by the conjugate. 3 square root 5 minus 2 square root 2. So 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times the 5, because the square root of 5 times square root of 5 is 5. So 3 times 3 times 5 is 45. And then minus 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Equals 37. Let's look at C. 9 plus 2 square root 5 multiplied by the conjugate, which is 9 minus 2 square root 5. So 9 times 9 is 81. 81. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. We have 61. D. You have 3 square root 5 minus 2 square root 10. So you're going to multiply by the conjugate. 3 square root 5 plus 2 square root 10. So 3 times 5 is 45. Minus 2 times 2 times 10 is 40. You're left with 5. So we're going to be looking at question 2, which is rationalizing the denominator. So we have 6 plus square root 2 square root 3. So we're going to multiply the top and bottom by the radical. So the bottom becomes 3. So 6 square root 3 plus square root 6. So that's the answer for 2A. If we look at 2B, have 2 square root 3 plus 4 over square root 3. We're going to multiply the top and bottom by the radical. So it's square root 3, square root 3. So the bottom becomes 3. You have 2 square root 9 plus 4 square root 3. Actually, the square root of 9 is 2 times the square root of 9 is 6 plus 4 square root 3 over 3. So now let's look at the next question, which is C. You have 5 over square root 7 minus 4. So since you see this as two terms, we have to multiply by the conjugate, which is square root 7 plus 4. over square root 7 plus 4 equals 5 square root 7 plus 4 times 5 over 7 minus 16. So you have 5 square root 7 plus 20 over 9. And it's negative. Okay, so now let's look at D. 2 square root 3 square root 3 minus 2. So you're going to multiply by the conjugate, which is square root 3 plus 2 over square root 3 plus 2 equals 2 times square root 9 plus 4 square root 3 over 3 minus 4. So you have 2 square root 9 plus 4 square root 3 divided by negative 1. So the answer is negative 2 square root 9 minus 4 square root 3. Let's look at E. 5 square root 3 over 2 square root 3 plus 4. So you're going to multiply it by 2 square root 3 minus 4 over 2 square root 3 minus 4 equals 10 square root 9 minus 20 square root 3 over 4 times 3 is 12 minus 16 equals 10 square root 9 minus 20 square root 3 over negative 4. So you can divide all of these by 2. So you get 5 square root 9 minus 10 square root 3 over negative 2. And that is your answer. So let's do F, which is 3 square root 2 over 2 square root 3 minus 5 multiplied by the conjugate, which is 2 square root 3 plus 5 over 2 square root 3 plus 5. So you get 6 square root 6 plus 15 square root 2 over 4. 2 times 2 times 3 is 12 minus 25 equals negative 13. 6 square root 6 plus 15 square root 2. So we're going to be looking at 3, and which is rationalizing the numerator. So the square root of 2 over 5. So you multiply the radical you multiply the radical to the top and the bottom. B, which is square root 3 over 6 plus square root 2. So you multiply by the radical, which is the numerator, which is square root 3 over square root 3. So equals 3 over 6 square root 3 plus square root 6. We can factor at the bottom, which is by 3. So you have 6 plus square root 2. So that's for B. C, question is square root 7 minus 4 over 5. So you're going to multiply by the conjugate, square root 7 plus 4 over square root 7 plus 4 equals 7 minus 16 over 5 square root 7 plus 20 equals 7 minus 16 is negative 9 over 5 square root 7 plus 20 . We can factor at the bottom, so negative 9, take out the 5, we're left with square root 7 plus 4. So that one, so D, you have 2 square root 3 minus 5 over square root 2, 3. So multiply by the conjugate of the numerator to the top and bottom. Two times 3 is 12 minus 25 over 6 times square root 6 plus 15 square root 2. So you have negative 13 over here. The only thing that we can take out is 3 and square root 2. So take out 3 square root 2. And you're left with 2 square root 3 plus 5. It's D. And E, square root 3 minus square root 7 over 4 multiplied by the conjugate, square root 3 plus square root 7 over square root 3 plus square root 7 equals Square root 3 times square root 3 is 3. Square root 7 times square root 7 is 7. And 4 square root 3. And 4 square root 7 equals negative 4. 4 square root 3 plus 4 square root 7. You can take out the 4, so you're left with negative 1 square root 3 plus square root 7. So for x, we have 2 square root 3 plus square root 7 over 5 multiplied by the conjugate, which is 2 square root 3 minus square root 7 over 2 square root 3 minus square root 7. So you get 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 3 is 12. Square root of 7 times square root of 7 is 7 over 5 times 2 times square root 3. So that's 10 square root 3 minus 5 square root 7 equals 10 square root 3 minus 5 square root 7 equals 1, 2 square root 3 minus square root 7. So that's completing question 3. Let's do question 4. So question 4 is determine the equation of the line given by the following information. So you have 4a. So you have y equals mx plus b. 6 equals negative 2 over 3 times 0 plus b. 6 equals b. Y equals negative 2, 3x plus 6b. You have to first determine the slope. So slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 equals 11 minus 7 over 6 minus 2. Have 4 over 3. Y equals mx plus b. Y equals 4, 3x plus b. So we use the points 11 and 6. So 11 equals 4 over 3 times 6 plus b. 11 equals 24 divided by 3 plus b. 11 equals 8 plus b. 11 minus 8 equals b. 3 equals b. Y equals 4 over 3x plus 3. Since the slope is in fraction form, we should multiply the whole equation by 3. So 3y equals 4x plus 9. So let's look at the next one. See? Parallel to 4x minus 6. So we have y equals 4x minus 6. If it's parallel, it has the same slope. So, and it's passing through points 2 and 6. So we have y equals 4x plus b. So you have 6 equals 4 times 2 plus b. 6 minus 8 equals b. Negative 2 equals b. Y equals 4x minus 2. Let's look at D. It's the equation. Perpendicular to negative 5x plus 3, passing through points negative 1 and negative 2. So you have the equation negative 5x plus 3. So if it's perpendicular, it's going to be, if you multiply the 2, it should be negative 1. So it should be 1 over 5. So y equals 1 over 5x plus b. So sum in the points, you have negative 2 and negative 1. So negative 1 is the x point and negative 2 is the y point. So negative 2 equals 1 over 5 negative 1 plus b. Negative 2 plus 1 over 5 equals b. Negative 10 over 5 plus 1 over 5 equals b. Negative 9 over 5 equals b. Y equals 1 over 5x minus 9 over 5. So multiply the whole equation by 5. 5y equals x minus 9. Let's look at E. Or was that, there was no, oh, now we have to look at question 5. It says, so you have the point p1 and negative 1, and the function is fx equals negative x squared. So we need to find the slope. So we can do that by doing this. So y equals negative x squared. The points are 1 and negative 1. So wherever it's x, we substitute negative, so is it 1 plus h squared plus 1. Since it's a negative 1, we have to add. If it was just a positive number, it would be subtract. So negative h squared plus 2h plus 1 minus 1 over h. So equals negative h squared minus 2h minus 1 plus 1 over h. So you can substitute out h minus 2 over h, cancel, and you're left with minus h minus 2. The slope is equal to negative 2 when you substitute h as 0. So now we're going to do number 6. And for number 6, so for question 6, I was thinking it would be easier if I put it in a spreadsheet. So this is point P, negative 1 and 1, and negative 1 and 1. So we need to determine the value of Q given this formula. So here we're going to find out the values. So it's going to be this times this minus 2 bracket this minus 2. So same thing, if we put the number, this number into this formula, so if we do this times this minus 2 times this minus 2, you get that. And if we do the same for this one, this times this times minus 2 times this minus 2, you get that. We can do the same for this one. So this is, if you put 0 in this equation, it's quite easy, it's negative 2. You do this times this minus 2 times this minus 2. And you have this times this minus 2 times this times minus 2. And you do the same. This times this minus 2 times this minus 2. And you do the same for this one. This times this minus 2 times this minus 2. So in order to find the slope, you do y2 minus y. You do 6 minus 2, 6 minus 1 divided by negative 2 minus 1, negative 5, yep. You do the same here, which is 3.25 minus 1 over negative 1.5 minus 1, and this one, this minus 1.41 minus 1 over negative 1.1 minus 1. You do the same. You do 1.0401 minus 1 over negative 1.01 minus 1 equals 1.004001 minus 1 divided by negative 1.001 minus 1. Do the same over here. Equals minus 2 minus 1 divided by 0 minus 1, 3, and you do negative 0.75 minus 1 divided by negative 0.5 minus 1. You have 0.61 minus 1 divided by negative 0.9 minus 1 equals 0.960 minus 1 divided by negative 0.99 minus 1, and you do 0.99601 minus 1 divided by negative 0.9999 minus 1. So when you do this, we found that as you get more and more closer towards 1, you get to a value of negative 4. And this is coming from 2 towards, like from greater than 1 towards 1, and then less than 1 towards 1. You also are finding that it's going closer and closer to negative 4. So here, the question, which is use the results, B, which is use the results from part A to approximate the slope of, so B, it's negative 4. C, we need to calculate the slope of the secant where the coordinate of Q is negative 1 plus H. So here we have to go back to the drawing board. And so you have the function 2x x squared minus 2x minus 2, and you have the points negative 1 and 1. So you have negative 1 plus h squared minus 2, negative 1 plus h minus 2 minus 1. So you have 1 minus 2h plus h squared plus 2 minus 2h minus 3. So you have 1 minus 2h plus h squared plus 2 minus 2h minus 3. You're left with negative 4h plus h squared over h. You can substitute out the h, so you're left with negative 4 plus h over h. So that is negative 4 plus h. And based on this answer, the slope is negative 4. And the values that we got using the other method, which was choosing values close to 1, we found that the values that we got for slope are the same. So the answers are the same. Okay, so now let's look at to get 7. So we have 7a, which is x squared plus 3x minus 5, and you have points -3 and -5, and you have -3 plus h squared plus 3 -3 plus h minus 5, and since this is a negative number, it becomes positive. So you have 9 minus 6h plus h squared minus 9 plus 3h minus 5 plus 5. So you're left with -6h, no, it's -6h plus, so it's 3h plus h squared over h. You take out the h, so you're left with -3 plus h. H's cancel, and you have -3 plus h. When you substitute h as 0, you're left with -3. Let's do b. You have y equals 1 over x, and the points are 1 over 3 and 3. So you have 1 over 3 plus h minus 3. So we're going to multiply the top and bottom by the denominator so that we can add or subtract them. So 1, 3 plus h. So you get 1 minus 1 minus 3h over, don't know how we got that. So it's 1 over 3 plus h equals -3h over 1 over 3 plus h over h. So equals, so it's 3h, 1 plus 3 plus h. Then you multiply by 1 over h. The h's cancel, and you're left with -3 over 1 over 3 plus h. When you substitute h as 0, you're left with -3 times 3 over 1, which is -9. Let's look at C. Y equals 4 over x minus 2, and you have points 6 and 1, and have 4 over 6 plus h minus 2 minus 1, so you have 4 over 4 plus h minus 1, which we're going to multiply by 4 plus h. So you get 4 minus 4 minus h over 4 plus h equals -h. 4 plus 4 over h, so then you can do 4 plus h multiplied by the reciprocal, cancels, and you're left with negative 1. 4 plus h, when you substitute h equals 0, you're left with negative 1 over 4. Let's look at D. Y equals y equals square root x plus 4, and the value is 5 and 3. So you're going to do 5 plus h plus 4, which is equal to 9 plus h. You're going to multiply, and minus 3, which is, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, the conjugate, so 9 plus 8 plus 3 over 9 plus h plus 3 equals 9 plus h minus 9 over h square root 9 plus h plus 3 equals h over h square root 9 plus h plus 3. So the h's will cancel and you're left with 1 over square root 9 plus h and plus 3. So when you substitute h as 0, so the square root of 9 is 3, so your answer is 1 over 6. So now let's look at question 8, which is 8 st equals 6t t plus 1. So we need to find, it says here, the function st equals 6t t plus 1. Describe the distance in kilometers that a car has traveled after a time. So calculate the average velocity from t2 to t3, from t2 to t2.1, and from t2 to t2.01. So let's do those. So s at 2 equals 6 times 2, 2 plus 1 equals 12 times 3 equals 36. S3 equals 6, 3, 3 plus 1 equals 18, 4 equals 72. So you have average velocity equals 72, which is at 3 seconds, minus 2, it's 36. You get 36 meters per second. So now let's find s at 2.1 equals 6, 2.1, then 2.1 plus 1 equals 39.06 equals So 39.06 minus 36 over 2.1 minus 2 gives you 3.06 over 0.1, which is 30.6 meters per second. Now if we do C, which is 2 plus 2.01 equals 6, 2.01, 2.01 plus 1 equals 12.06, 3.01 equals 36.3006. So you would do 36.3006 minus 36 over 2.01 minus 2 equals 0.3006 divided by 0.01 equals 30.06 meters per second. So B, we want to expand the equation, so it would become 60 squared plus 60, and we have the points 2 and 36. So it would be 6, 2 plus h squared plus 6, 2 plus h squared minus 36. So you have 6h squared plus 4h plus 4. You have plus 12 plus 6, 8. Oh, there's no squared there. Plus 12 plus 6h minus 36. You have 6h squared plus 24h plus 24 plus 12 plus 6h minus 36. So you have 6h. You have 6h squared, 24. Oh, sorry, 24. So you have 24h plus 6h is 30h. And then plus 24 plus 12 is 36, minus 36 is 0. So you can substitute out h. You have 30 or h. So you're left with 6h plus 30. When you substitute h equals 0, you're left with 30. 30 meters per second squared. So this is C, this is D. So let's look at 9, which is y equals 5 minus x squared. The points are 2 and 1. So we have 5 minus 2 plus h squared minus 1. So 5 minus h squared minus 4h minus 4 minus 1, you're left with h squared minus 4h over 4, over h. So you can take out h squared, h minus 4, then over h. You can cancel these and you're left with h minus 4. If you substitute h as 0, you're left with negative 4. So for 9p, we have y equals 3 over x. So we have points 1/2 and 6. So you have 3 1/2 plus h minus 6. We're going to multiply by the denominator to the top and bottom, so we can subtract them. So you have 3 minus 6h over 1/2 plus h over h. You're left with negative 6 1/2 plus h multiplied by 1 over h. So the h's cancel. You're left with negative 1 over 1/2 plus h. Sorry, you're left with 6 1/2 plus h. So it equals, if you substitute 0, you get negative 12. So now let's do 10. So for 10, you have an oil tank is being drained for cleaning. After t minutes, there are v liters of oil left in the tank, where t equals 50. 30 minus t squared. Calculate the average change during the first 20 minutes. Calculate the rate of change in the volume at time t equals 20. So you have y equals 50 times 30 minus t squared. So you have points 0 and 0. So you have to find out 20 minutes. So if you put 20 in here, 50, 300, so you have 50 times 100, you have 5,000. So you have the points 20 and 5,000. So find the difference. So you have 5,000 average velocity equals 50,000 minus 0 divided by 20 minus 0 equals 50,000 divided by 20 equals 250. It's liters per minute. Okay, so that's 10. Let's look at B. So this is 10a. So if we were to do, we're going to expand out the equation, which is 900 minus 60 t plus t squared. That's not, and then you have to multiply it by 50 because we expanded this one So if you do that, you have 45,000. Oh yeah, you have to subtract by 5,000 at the end, just a y point, minus 3,000t plus 50t squared. So now wherever there is t, we're going to substitute 20 plus h $45,000 minus 60,000 minus 30,000 h plus, so we have, what's 20 squared? 20 squared is 400. So I'll just do this, 50 h squared plus 40h plus 400. Go to the next page. You get 45,000 minus 60,000 minus 3,000h plus 50h squared plus 2,000h plus 20,000 minus 5,000, which is the y value. So what it comes down to is 10,000, no, sorry, minus 1,000h plus 50h squared over h. So you substitute out h, you get negative 1,000 plus 50h over h, the h's cancel. You're left with negative 1,000 plus 50h. When you substitute 0 for h, you're left with negative 1,000. So now let's go to 11a. So you have 11a, which is x squared plus x minus 3. So the 2 points are 4 and 17. 17 was obtained by putting 4 into this equation. So then you have x plus 4 squared. Oops, sorry, I should do 4 plus h squared plus 4 plus h minus 3 minus 17. So you have h squared plus 8h plus 16 plus 4 plus h minus 20. So you're left with h squared plus 9h over h. Substitute out. Take a factor out the h, so you're left with h plus 9 over h. These cancel. You're left with h plus 9. And when you substitute 0 for h, you get 9. So we have to do the formula, which is y equals 9x plus b. Substitute the points that you have. 17 equals 9 times 4 plus b. 17 minus 36 equals b. negative 19. And 17 minus 36 is negative 19 equals b. Y equals 9x minus 19. Well, let's do b. 2x squared minus 7 points are negative 2 and 1. So you have negative 2 plus h squared minus 7 minus 1. So you have 2h squared minus 4h plus 4 minus 8. So 2h squared minus 8h plus 8 minus 8. So you're left with 2h squared minus 8h over h. Take out the h, so you're left with 2h minus 8 over h. H's cancel, so you get 2h minus 8. Substitute h equals 0, so you're left with minus 8. So y equals negative 8x plus b. Substitute the points that you have, so it's 1 equals negative 8. This is negative 2 plus b. 1, so 16 positive equals b. You get negative 15 equals b. So y equals negative 8x minus 15. Let's do the next one, which is c. 3x squared plus 2x minus 5. Points are negative 1 and negative 4. So 3, negative 1 plus h squared plus 2, negative 1 plus h minus 5 plus 4. So you have 3, 1 minus 2h plus h squared minus 2 plus 2h minus 1. 3 minus 6h plus 3h squared minus 3 plus 2h. I have negative 3, negative, so 4h plus 3h squared over h. Take out common h. So negative 4 plus 3h over h. So you're left with negative 4 plus 3h. When you substitute h equals 0, you get negative 4. So y equals negative 4x plus b. So to substitute the points, negative 4 equals negative 4, negative 1 plus b. Negative 4 minus 4 equals b. Negative 8 equals b. Y equals negative 4x minus 8. So the next one is D. Which is 5x squared minus 8x plus 3. The points are 1 and 0. So you have 5, 1 plus h squared minus 8, 1 plus h plus 3. So you have 5, 1 plus 2h plus 8 squared minus 8 minus 8h plus 3. You have 5 plus 10h plus 5h squared, what? 5h squared minus 8 minus 8h plus 3. So you're left with 2h plus 5h squared, h squared over h. Take out the h, you're left with 2 plus 5h over h. H is cancelled, so you're left with 2 plus 5h. When you substitute h equals 0, you're left with 2. So y equals 2x plus b, and y equals, this would be 0, 2 times 1 plus b equals -2. So y equals 2x minus 2. Now we're going to go to 12a. So we're going to do 12a. So you have x over x plus 3. The points are -5 and so -5 is -2, so it's 5 over 2. So you have -5 plus h over -5 plus h plus 3 equals -5 plus h over -2 plus h minus 5 over 2. So then you multiply it by the denominator, which is -2 plus h and -2 plus h. And you multiply this also by 2 because there's a 2 there. So you get -10 plus 2h plus 10 minus 5h to -2 plus h equals -3h over 2 times -2 plus h, and divided by h, so you can multiply by the reciprocal, so this cancels. You're left with -3 over 2, -2 plus h. So if you substitute h equals 0, you get -3 over -4, which is equal to 3 over 4. Okay, so y equals 3 over 4x plus b. So 5 over 2 equals 3 over 4 x, which is -5 plus b. So 5 over 2 plus 15 over 4 equals b. This can also be written as 10 over 4 plus 15 over 4, which is b. So b equals 25 over 4. So the equation is y equals 3 over 4x plus 25 over 4. Then multiply everything by 4. So 4y equals 3x plus 25. The next one. So we're going to be doing 12b, which is 2x plus 5 over 5x minus 1. The points are y equals -1 and y is equal to -half. So we have 2, -1 plus h plus 5 over 5, -1 plus h minus 1 plus half. So you have -2 plus 2h plus 5 over -5 plus 5h minus 1 plus 1/2. Then you have 3 plus 2h over -6 plus 5h minus 1 over 2. So you have to multiply, now that we have common denominator, so we have to multiply this by -6 plus 5h, and this one by 2. So you have 6 plus 6h, and if it's minus, oh yeah, I accidentally had so it's -6, -6, and plus and plus is plus, so h missing there, plus 5h over, sorry, let's redo this step again. So 2 times 2 is 6, plus 4h, plus 1 times -6 is -6, 1 times 5h is plus 5h, 2, -6 plus 5h, which is equal to 9h over 2, -6 plus 5h. So now you can multiply by h for that, so it equals 9 over 2, -6 plus 5h. When you substitute 0, you're left with 9 over -12, which is equal to -3 over 4. So in order to find the equation, -3 over 4, and we had the points. The points were -half equals 3 over 4, this is negative, and this is -1 plus b, -1/2. That becomes positive, so when you bring it to the other side, it becomes negative, because b. So this is -2 over 4, oops, minus 3 over 4 equals b. -5 over 4 equals b. So y equals -3 over 4x minus 5 over 4. Multiply everything by 4. 4y equals -3x minus 5.